conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the up.
And new undisputed UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael the Count Bisping.
This is Believe You Me on the Gas Digital Network.
Welcome back, Mr. Bisping.
What was that? What was that?
I was jerking off for the audio listeners. I was actually masturbating. That's what I do. And that's how excited I get to do the Believe You Me podcast is I get sexually excited. And that's how I start off the show every week. Thanks for pulling the curtain aside, Mr. Bisping.
Well, two things to say. One, just a moment ago, we were sitting there with Brian, our head producer, and Lewis was like, do we need to run the intro? Can we start it without the intro? Well, I'm glad on this occasion that we did run the intro because seeing those images put a smile back on my face because I've been fucking miserable all morning.
Why?
What was I going to say though? I was going to say, well, because of my fucking knee. I went to the hospital this morning. I went to see my doctor and I've got to have a knee replacement. Long story short, I've got to have a knee replacement, but that means I can't run anymore. Okay. And believe it or not, I want to run. Yeah. Can't run anymore because otherwise they have to do what's called a revision, which means you got to redo the knee replacement in 5 to 10 years if you run on it. And then every time you do it, it doesn't take as well. Basically, they shave like the end of the femur off. They put a metal insert on that end, but if you run, it just gets worse. So I left there like really annoyed and pissed off. Just, come on. You have these days where you feel a little bit sorry for yourself. But then seeing those images there, I'm like, yep, there you go. It made it all worthwhile. Not that I regret anything. I don't regret a goddamn thing. But when I've just been told I have to have a knee replacement and I won't be able to run, I'm like, oh, bloody hell, I'm feeling sorry for myself. I said to the doctor, let me talk to my wife. I'll give you a call back. I'll shoot you an email, something later today. Let me mull it over. Although there's nothing to mull over. But
so you haven't told
nice
but you're doing it. You're doing it. Your wife obviously told you to do it as well. What are the other options, though? There's an option just to be in pain?
The option is just to be in pain. And yeah, well, that's what my wife said. I said to my wife, I said, yeah, but I can't run if I get it. She's like, Michael, you can't run now. In fact, you can't even fucking walk. Do you know what I mean? So
what is going to be your, are you going to start swimming? What's going to be your option? Because that's the thing, like exercise in general. This is why I'm having a hard time getting back in. I'm back officially as of today, but it was a rough couple of weeks. But you need to be.
Wait, hold on. Where have you been? What do you mean you're back? You're back exercising?
Yeah, I'm back exercising as of today, dieting. I went when I went to that Hawaii trip and then LA right afterwards, I just fell off so hard after that. It was so hard while I was traveling. But now that I'm not traveling as much, I should be good. But I was officially back in the gym today. But what you need to do is you need to make your workouts enjoyable. You have to like it. You really do. When I've worked with like a personal trainer and they're like, get on the ground, do bear crawls. Now do 20 burpees. Now you got to go grab this kettlebell and swing it. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to fucking punch you in the face. Get away from me. I don't want to be here. And then you come up with excuses to not go. But when you're doing something that you like, like I like just lifting weights kind of slowly. I like doing boxing training. I really like it. You're that much more likely to do it. And even though maybe not as hard as what these other guys are trying to get you to do, I know you're trying to push yourself. But if you're going to show up 5 days a week versus 1 day a week, and you're, simple mathematics. I'd rather work hard 5 days a week, 70%, than work, 100% 1 day a week.
I totally agree, but I kind of get the feeling, Lewis, that you're one of these guys. Like my old mate, Blanky, shout out Blanky from Clitheroe. We used to go to the gym a lot together, and he just want to talk. He would just want to talk. Like we do 10 reps on the bench press, and then he'd go into a massive story. Oh, you're not going to believe what happened at the weekend. Listen to this. And then like 10 minutes are passing. I'm like, dude, let's work out. He's like, no. I've got to finish this story. I'm like, Blanky, we're here to work. We're here to lift weights. Yes, we can chat whilst we're resting, but I kind of get the feeling, Lewis, that you're one of those guys. You want to go there. You want to talk about how you go to Equinox. You want to go in the steam room. You want to see what's going on with the guys in the steam room. You want to shower. You want to walk around with your dick out. You know what I mean? You want to sweat. But you don't really want to work out, do you?
That's not true. I want to work out. I first of all, I'm not a social gym guy. I don't really like working out with other people as much. It's fine. But I like to sort of get in my head. It's almost like a meditative state I get to in the gym. It's the only time where I'm thinking about myself in like not a frantic, like, not a frantic way where I'm like, we're always thinking of ourselves. We're in the entertainment industry. We're fucking narcissists. But it's the only time where I'm like, kind of like, if I'm lifting weights and I'm sitting there, I'm sweating, got music on, I just sort of thinking about how to better myself in a lot of ways. Physically, it sort of connects with the mind. I start thinking about other things that are going on in my life. It's probably when I'm at my best is when I'm just in the gym by myself, in my own head, earbuds in. And I'm way happier when I'm eating good, when I'm exercising. I'm just a happier person. But what are you going to do now? Because now you love running. This is something I know about you. We've gone running together. You legitimately love it. You love taking a dog up a hill. You bring the kids. They hate it. You try to make your fucking 8-year-old run. It's psychotic. What are you going to do now? Because you have to do something. Because you obviously can't do high impact MMA training either.
Yeah, no, exactly. This is the thing. See, I always saw myself, or I'd like to think of myself as one of those guys that when they get older, in the 60s running marathons, you know what I mean? And I don't know, I honestly saw myself as being one of those types of guys. I like to live an active life. So I don't know, when I went there this morning and I left and he said, yeah, listen, you got to do knee surgery. See, I can't straighten my knee at all. And I thought that was muscular. So I got this device called an extensionator. You might have seen on my Instagram story. I put it in this like device and you squeeze like an air thing and it forces your knee straight. And it's absolutely agony. Absolute agony. It really is. And the doctor said today, yeah, you're just torturing yourself for nothing. That is going to do nothing. The reason I can't straighten my leg is because I've got tons of bone spurs because I've got like really, really extreme arthritis in my bad knee. So yeah, long story short, I've got to do a knee replacement, and apparently it's not as bad as what I thought. 6 weeks recovery. It's not too bad. But can't run. Can't do a lot of things that involve a lot of impact, which is what I want to do. Like, for example, I fly to Mexico City on Wednesday, big fight there this weekend, Jeremy Stevens, Yair Rodriguez. Normally, when I get off the plane in a new city, I like to go for a run around said city, get my bearings to the hotel, whilst also seeing some of the local sites, figure out what shops are available to me in my immediate vicinity, have a little walk around, you know what I mean, or a little jog. I mean, listen, it's a small price to pay because the reality is that if I don't do it, I'm going to be in agony. So yeah, but I just came home. I was pissed off.
Can you ride a bike?
I can ride a bike. Yeah, of course I can. I can still ride a bike.
So you can still do your
turn into
Peloton?
one of those. I can still do my. Listen, I'm not going to still do my fucking Peloton, Lewis. That is not the be all and end all of my workout regime. Sitting on my fucking Peloton bike like an absolute fucking. I'll choose my words carefully. Okay, but I am going to have to turn into one of those Lycra-wearing dudes now and start doing like 50-mile bike rides instead of like 5-mile runs, But it is what it is. There you go. So like, I came out and I was feeling a little annoyed. I went and stuffed my face. If I'm honest, I felt like going and getting shit-faced. Felt like getting drunk, if I'm honest. And Rebecca was like, what the fuck's wrong with you? I'm like, well, Jesus Christ, babe, I'm going to have a knee replacement. And then you start thinking, is it all worth it? You've got one fucking eye, one knee, fucking my neck's killing. I need surgery on that. Back's hurting. But no, I wouldn't change a goddamn thing. It's all
I'm
good.
liking my chances in our one-on-one MMA battle. Now, which knee is it? I'm attacking the bad knee. By the way, I'm literally just going on one side.
Dude, attack it. When I check that leg, when the time comes, I'm going to have a metal knee. You kick my fucking knee all you want, buddy. I have a metal knee. I will snap your little fucking frail Puerto Rican bones like twigs. They will break very, very easily. And that wasn't racist before you all start.
Yeah, no, we know what you're saying. All Puerto Ricans have frail bones. We know.
I think Michael Bisping said it best.
He did.
I'm saying you have frail bones. You have frail bones. I haven't studied the DNA of the Puerto Rican bone structure, believe it or not. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say that yours is weak. Thanks for gracing us with your presence. I sat here for 45 minutes. 45 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, I waited for the great Louis J. Gomez, Mr. Big Shot. He's chatting away to the Hollywood Observer.
Reporter. The Hollywood Reporter, way bigger publication. And sometimes the Hollywood Reporter calls and they say, hey, we need to talk to Louis J. Gomez, trend maker. I mentioned you, gave you a little shout out in the article. They were talking about the connection between MMA and comedy.
what did they want to know? What scandal did they want to ask you about, or what? It's a scandal. It's something like that. It's a performer. It's a comedian. It's somebody special that they asked you about. They wanted your thoughts because you rang Skankfest and you had what's his face up on stage, the prolific masturbator,
Louis
right?
C.K.
What's his name? Oh yeah, Louis C.K. It's got something to do with that and the state of comedy and people being triggered and offended right now. Explain.
Yeah, well, no, what happened was our buddy Shane Gillis, who is a great comic here in New York City, he was announced as one of the new cast members on Saturday Night Live.
Right.
And for a young comic, Bisping, I mean, it's as good as it gets. It's
100%. Listen, I'm not a massive Saturday Night Live aficionado. I'm really not. I've seen some of it, but I listen to a lot of Howard Stern, and he talks about it a lot. I know that's like, yeah. Once you get it, once you make it to there, you've made it as a comedian.
Yeah, to a certain degree, it's sort of it, right? It's almost like in my opinion, it's like it's getting the call to the UFC. If you're an MMA fighter, that's a great way to put it, actually, because it's the pinnacle of success. Now, it's not guaranteed. There are players on Saturday Night Live who have come and gone. There are people that you'll never even know their name. You're like, oh, that person was on Saturday Night Live. You had no idea. But there's a real opportunity. There's a real opportunity to cash in on that and you could become a massive star. And it's the same thing with the UFC. You can get the call to the UFC. You can bomb. You can lose your first fight. You can fight a couple boring ones and nobody will ever remember your name. But the only way to become a world famous mixed martial artist, for the most part, is by going the path through the UFC. It's the way to do it. And SNL sort of has, I guess, that similarity in that. So they sort of dig, as soon as anybody gets something like Saturday Night Live, any major thing like that, SNL is sort of a big one because there's a lot of young people that are into the show. They start to dig up on things you've said on podcasts and things you've done and
they start looking for dirt to dish, which is funny because number one, you're absolutely right. If you make it to the UFC, you're not made as a fighter, but that's the start. It's the stepping stone to greatness. And the same thing, it is a worthy analogy. And it's funny that you mentioned this, Luz, because this morning, or when I came back from seeing the doctor, and I went to my local cafe. I got a nice sandwich and fries. I stuffed my face. I felt sorry for myself. I'm regretting it. I got out of bed. I fasted. I did everything. I'm like, okay, I'm going to the gym. I went to the doctor's appointment in my gym stuff. And as I said, took the wind out of myself. Went and stuffed my face, laid on the couch, looked on Twitter, and I saw that you put a joke on there, and somebody just put, there goes your chance at Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
It's funny that you're saying this because we never discussed this, but I did see that. Did you see that? You know what I'm talking about,
wait,
right?
The joke that I put?
Well, you put racist jokes are lazy, just like the blacks.
That's a great joke.
Well, I don't see how black people are lazy, but okay, I get. I don't get what you're saying, but there's someone here, 3 comments down. At this point, it's like you don't want a future career in television or anything mainstream. That is from Pieman 1995.
Well, the reality is that's the joke. The reason I made the joke is because of everything that's going on. It's way too late for me. I'm never going to get SNL. I've done plenty on TV, and I'll continue to do stuff on TV. There's a certain standard. I'll never be that famous. I know for a fact I will never be SNL like that guy. I'll never be on The Daily Show. If you're in that world, what?
I just want to read this other tweet out. Somebody tweeted, "I'm not racist. I've got a colored TV," which I thought was pretty funny. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
But here's the thing, Michael Bisping, you have said enough on this, not even on this podcast, in post-fight interviews. You've said enough that you will never get SNL.
Whoa. Listen, don't fucking throw me under the bus, motherfucker. Let's keep the attention on you. Jesus Christ, Michael, you've said enough. Number one, I'm not trying to be on SNL. Number two, I've already got several features on Netflix. Number three, kiss my ass. I'm not the one out there tweeting racist jokes, and it is just a joke, but you're a comedian. You're trying to make a point that no aspect of comedy is off limits, off boundaries. It's all fun and games, and you shouldn't be so offended. But if that's what you want to do, keep it to you. Don't keep it to the podcast, and don't throw Michael Bisping in there either, okay? Listen,
I agree with you, Mike.
Thank you, Daniel. I'm going to be on SNL now just to fucking show you. Put you in your place.
I want to say it. New recurring cast member, Michael Bisping. What a weird trajectory your career went if you ended up on SNL. But yeah,
my God.
so this guy, they go on, and he, on a few podcasts, mine being one of them, he used the racial term chink, which is a derogatory
All right.
term towards Asian people. And to be honest with you, sort of like spick, chink, come on. It's just not one of the really bad ones. I understand if you're an Asian person or Hispanic person, you know, if somebody says that to you in malice and in hate, and yes, if somebody said, yeah, fuck you, spick, I would be offended, and it would hurt my ego, and it would bother. But if somebody makes a joke and says spick, Lisa Lampanelli called me a spick on Comedy Central when I did Roast Battle on Comedy Central. It was just funny. I mean, literally, there's just no other way about it. And so to say that a racial epithet or a slur can't be funny, no, it's about timing. It's about when you say it in the moment. Are you supposed to say it? Do the people in the room laugh? Okay, if all of those things hit, well, guess what? I guess it can be funny.
Yes, you're absolutely right, and it depends who you're with, you know. But some people have a better sense of humor. You know, everybody's different. And I'm just playing devil's advocate here, Lewis. I agree with you. You know what I'm like. You know what I mean? I'm not Mr. PC either, 100%. I'm just saying that maybe racial terms like that, just don't use them. You know, because it's not particularly offensive, but some people take offense, and therefore you just learn to not use them. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like somebody might have, like, I don't know, but you just I don't know, just try and not use them, Lewis. But,
No.
by the way, we didn't plan on talking about this.
No, we don't have to.
5
We don't have to
minutes
plan
in.
anything.
No, we don't. But go on. So what was the purpose of the interview? Tell me all about it.
Oh, so that's sort of what triggered it. You know, he was on one of my shows, and I'm known as a guy that's somewhat provocative, and we have Gas Digital and Legion of Skanks and all these shows that we do. So this guy hit me up from the Hollywood Reporter and was like, I'd love to interview you. You know, the Shane Gillis backlash is what sort of triggered it. But there's sort of a bigger picture here, which is, you know, the backlash against comedians and jokes and how far you can take it. So yeah, they interviewed me about a bunch of things, everything from Skankfest to us having Milo Yiannopoulos on and the Shane Gillis thing. And yeah, it was, I hope they make me sound good. I mean, I did a good interview.
Well,
I believe in what I'm saying, so.
Well, and to be honest, Lewis, I totally agree with everything you're saying. I mean, I didn't hear the interview, but I hear your stance, and I totally agree. I mean, Saturday night, what was it? I watched a new Bill Burr special. Have you seen that on Netflix?
I only saw the first few minutes. I haven't gotten to sit down and really watch yet, but I heard he went hard.
Oh my God, it's funny. It's funny. I can't remember any specific bits off the top of my head, but he pushes the envelope a little bit. He comes close to being offensive and whatnot. But it's like, listen, you are watching a comedian. Have a sense of humor about everything you're hearing. He's not trying to go on stage and offend people. And if you do get offended, it's like, well, you know, maybe don't watch certain comedians. But no, good for you, Lewis. Stick to your guns. You be you. Good. Well done.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and I think that. It's a weird time we live in. You know, I don't think anybody legitimately gets offended by a joke. I think to be offended by a joke, legitimately offended, somebody makes a joke, you go, oh my God, that really triggered me. You have to be mentally handicapped. You have to be like, there's has to be something wrong in your head. There's a few screws loose where you're like, if fine, that person, sure. But I'm not gonna alter my behavior. I've spent 15 years doing comedy. I'm not gonna change everything that I find funny. I grew up on Eddie Murphy and Def Jam, and like comics would say fucked up things, and that's what makes me laugh. Just because society has changed, I still have my same dumb sense of humor. I'm 37 years old.
So, and I apologize for ruining his special. I just remembered one of the bits, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. He started off, he was talking about Michelle Obama, right? And he says, you know, Michelle Obama, she's doing an arena tour. Arenas, not shitty comedy clubs, fucking arenas, right? The former first lady is touring arenas, right? And we all remember Michelle Obama. She was going on talk shows, and she was, you know, the press would interview her and this and that and all the rest of it. They said, well, eventually there's going to be a female president, okay? And that first female president means there's going to be the first husband, or the first man. You know, you have the first lady. There's going to be a male equivalent of that, okay? And all the feminists are going to love the fact that there's a first president. He said, but you watch those motherfuckers turn. As soon as the husband tries to open his mouth, they're like, you shut the fuck up. Don't you talk. You had your time. No, it is her time to talk. Because right now, you know, like the first lady, she becomes like a big celebrity. She's going on talk shows, as I just said. Michelle Obama's touring fucking arenas. You know what I mean? But when the tables are turned and there's a female president, you just wait and see. Now, of course, he's a great comedian, so he does it way better. But you got to check it out. It is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, Bill Burr's one of the best in the world. And yeah, I mean, look, there's certain guys that they're above a certain level. You can't really bring Bill Burr down. Like, you know, unless it's something like really fucked up, there's no joke that's going to, same thing with Chappelle. Chappelle, you know, was doing all those transphobic jokes, quote unquote. And it's just, you know, it's good. It's great. I think it's great for guys that are at that level to take those chances, because I think it lets the younger comics know, it's like, hey, you know, take some chances. That's, in my opinion, that's the funniest shit for me. It's always the shit that brings it right to the edge, where it's like, should I say this? Should I? That's just it's the stuff that makes me laugh. And you run the risk of crossing that line and offending somebody, or you fuck up. Your timing's off. You misspeak. You stutter a word and it doesn't get a laugh. And now you said something quote unquote racist and nobody laughed. And that's like, holy shit. Well, look, this guy, nobody's even laughing. Is it a joke?
They run the chance of crossing the line and being offensive. Are you purposely using running analogies to make me feel bad, Lewis? What the fuck? I'm sitting here, I'm telling you, I'm damn near suicidal. I can't go for runs anymore. I can't exercise the way I wanted. I'm still a young man in my prime. You're throwing in running analogies. Oh, you run the chance of crossing the line, crossing the finish line.
Bisping,
He's trying to make me cry.
Don't
Fuck
jump
him.
the gun here, okay?
What are you trying to do to me, Lewis? Jesus Christ. I'm a sensitive little flower, okay? I'm riddled in injuries, okay? And now the one last thing that I have, I like to go for a run and meditate. That's not my meditation time, and I can't do it. And you're just making jokes.
You're emotional, so you're having a knee-jerk reaction, and I think you need to consider...
Well, that's not bad. It's pretty good. It's not bad. What else we got? Knee jerk. I don't know.
All right, Mike, let's take a quick moment and talk about Native deodorant, which I love. What an amazing brand to be working with. All natural deodorant, not made with all the same bullshit that the normal deodorants that you're used to wearing have. You know, obviously a lot of these things have aluminum, which has been linked to a bunch of diseases like cancer and other things, parabens and talc. This is all natural, things that you find in nature. Smells amazing. I love the diversity of scents that they have.
Yeah, absolutely. They got all different kinds of scents, and you will find one that you love. Trust me, you got to give these a try. All their ingredients are, Native creates safe, simple, and effective products that you can use in the bathroom every day. Their products are filled with ingredients found in nature. Like I was saying, coconut oil, shea butter, tapioca. I mean, come on, bro. Tapioca.
You can smell like your favorite pudding. How incredible is that?
Well, for me personally, I like the cedar and sea salt. I mean, come on, is there a more manly scent than cedar and sea salt? I mean, I want to go out there and start chopping trees down when I put that stuff on. And the women, they just throw themselves at me, Lewis.
As you said it, I just want to snuzzle up in the crest of your neck and just smell some cedar and sea salt. And honestly, that's how manly it is. It's making me question my own sexuality.
Well, guess what? Listen, if cedar and sea salt gets you popping, what about this? They got coconut and vanilla. They got lavender and rose, cucumber and mint, even eucalyptus and mint.
Let me tell you something. You wear cucumber and mint around me, Michael Bisping, you're not getting my hands off you. Just deal with that. You're gonna be fighting me off.
Well, guess what? Seeing as you said that, and I've had my eye on you for quite a while, Lewis, I'm going to go to nativedeodorant.com and I'm going to use that 20% off deal that we're offering. That's right. You go to nativedeodorant.com, pick out a manly scent, pick out a woman's scent, because they got scents for everybody. You also got a variety of other products on there. But as I'm saying, go to nativedeodorant.com, NATIVE, deodorant.com, and use the code BELIEVE during checkout. You're going to get 20% off your first purchase. Don't be smelly. Don't be like Harrington. Have a manly scent. Have a womanly scent. Just smell good. Try out the products. nativedeodorant.com. Use the code BELIEVE. 20% off. All right, let's get back into it.
Literally, I'm looking at my phone right now as we're talking here, and I just read that Shane Gillis was officially fired from SNL, which is really bumming me out right now.
Yeah, so I don't know who Shane Gillis is, so my apologies. And I can see that you're bummed out. And number one, I mean, yeah, I'm sorry that absolutely sucks. So what happened? So what did he say? So he said a joke. He used the word.
Chink.
I'm seeing the way I'm getting you to say them all now.
It's
And
really.
what did he say? You said there was another one. There was like a Spanish one before it, right?
Spick. He didn't say spick. I was just saying spick is in a category of like, okay, nobody really cares. So yeah, he uses the word chink a few times. And it wasn't, look, he didn't just use it in a he was being funny with it. On podcasts, here's what we do. We lean into these sort of exaggerated versions of ourselves where we are acting bigger than we are. And, some people, especially when you do certain shows, like really dirty, like this is pretty mild compared to some of the other shows that are out there, some podcasts, but you try to lean into these characters. You're trying to make a room of comedians laugh. That's hard to do. That's a hard thing to do, to make comedians laugh. It's like, this is the world we work in. So he makes these jokes and yeah, dude, SNL, they fired him today. It seemed like they were going to stick by him. It was a few days. And
how long had he been a part of the cast? Was he a relatively new addition?
It was days ago. Thursday, they announced it. Friday.
Oh, wow.
By Thursday night, there was already articles coming out saying the crazy shit that he says.
Wow, it's crazy. So realistically, this is the end of our podcast.
This is the last show.
Realistically, if I want any kind of career in the entertainment industry, which so far is going okay. I had a good meeting on Friday with my agent, Mike Stout. We met a couple of big film networks, and I've got the idea for a movie, and they love the idea, and they've pitched it to a couple of big movie stars, and they're in. In fact, one guy wants to even direct it. I'm going to give no names, nothing like that, so don't ask. But what we're saying is that what I can say on this podcast could ultimately affect that. Lewis, it's been great knowing you, buddy. It's been great.
I would say distance yourself from me as quickly as possible, Mr. Bisping. Don't invite me on that project.
Not going to do it. Not going to do it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it. Because, I mean, for crying out loud, well, number one, it's a shame for that guy. I don't know him. I don't know him at all.
He's a good guy. He's one of the good ones. If he put a gun
against my head and asked me to pick him out, I wouldn't be able to do it. But still, it sucks. He's making a joke. It's a shame. This is the world we're living in. I mean, you mentioned the Chappelle special before, and I've mentioned her a couple of times. I've got a friend of mine that's transgender, used to be a man, and now is a full-blown woman. And she watched the Chappelle thing and had no problem with it. Laughed her head off.
No, because she's dealt with real bigotry in her life. She's dealt with people in her family and friends not speaking to her anymore and turning their back on her, and she's dealt with real hurt. So when a comedian, there's nothing more inclusive than making a fucking joke about somebody. We all do it with our families. We all get together on Thanksgiving, Christmas, and the holidays, and we fuck with each other and we bust balls. And it is what you do with people that you love. If I don't like somebody, I don't bust their balls because they're going to fight me. We're not going to have a thing. I'm never going to be, it humanizes everybody. We put everybody on the same, there's nothing more of a supremacist sort of mindset than saying, oh, these are protected classes. We're above these people, so we can't joke about them. They have to be protected. That is the definition of supremacy.
That's exactly what it is as well, because, I was going to say a moment ago, but then you said that point, which you're absolutely right. It is. I don't like this world. I do not like the world that we're living in right now. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we live in a fantastic society, but it's going more and more outrageously PC by the bloody second. And it's ridiculous. They need to get a grip. I mean, come on, Jesus Christ. If you look back 20, 30 years, the shit that used to be said, and, did it do any damage? It's a joke. If you don't want to watch it, if you find it offensive, turn it off. That's all you got to do. Turn it off. Don't watch. Simple as that. Yeah. Get a fucking grip is my response to that, It's
sad. Whatever. We don't have to spend the whole show talking about comedy, but what happened with, you said you got a new car. I don't want to talk about comedy anymore because I don't really know about it. I'm not in the know, but I will say this. I got a new car recently, tried to switch it over to Sirius XM because Sirius, now, we used to work on Sirius, and this is why I'm saying this, because I want to shit all over Sirius XM. I've got a few things to say. Not only did they let us go, not only did they pay us very minimally, not only were they kind of dicks to work for, but
to change over my subscription from the car that I used to have to my new car, my wife was driving. I said, babe, can you take care of this? Can you just call them? Come on. It's been about a month now. Do you know what I mean? Can you just make the phone call? Granted, I could have done that, but my wife generally, she does all those types of things. And she did it while we're in the car. She didn't even have to make a phone call, did it on the app. But for an admin, there was an admin fee, an admin charge of $15 to cross over from one car to the other, which is utter fucking bullshit. And then she did it, and I only want Sirius realistically for Howard Stern. I like to listen to Howard Stern. I drive a lot to LA. Sometimes that drive takes 3 hours. It's a nice bit of escapism. Makes me laugh. They have some interesting guests on there. The interviews are great. Gets a little crude at times, but still, I like it. Here's the thing. She paid the $15. I went to put on Howard Stern, and I couldn't even put that on. Now it's an upgrade for Howard Stern. So it's $15.99 per month for no Howard Stern, $20.99 per month if you want Howard Stern, and you got to hear fucking adverts. Wasn't the whole entire point of SiriusXM for radio with no commercials? There's commercials all over it, and $20.99 a month. Fuck you, Sirius.
That's batshit. Do you know for only $7 a month, you can get a membership to Gas Digital, ad-free, uncensored, with pre-release and more. Use that promo code BYM. That's an interesting point.
No, but it's. I mean, think about it. $20.99, right?
That's crazy. I had no idea it was that expensive. Netflix is what, 12?
Netflix is 12. HBO, I think, is around about 15, something like that. And you'll get it. I mean, for Netflix, I mean, it started off $7 a month. I think it's about $12 a month now. I mean, look at all the countless hours of content, movies, TV, documentaries.
There was a weird lull in Netflix. So you remember where it was like there wasn't much on Netflix. There was a weird before they started coming up with original programming, and they was like they just switched over from being DVDs in your mailbox to streaming, where it was like nobody was really doing the DVDs anymore. There was like a year or two. There was nothing available to fucking stream, and it would drive me out of my mind. When I first signed up for Netflix, I hated it. And in the past year or two, ever since like Stranger Things, all the comedy specials, all the original programming, what's the British show that everybody loves? About like
Peaky
technology.
Blinders?
No, not Pinky Blinders.
I don't know. What show are you talking about?
On Netflix, you know, the one that's about technology? Black Mirror.
Black Mirror sucks.
Whoa, Michael Bisping. What are you, a fuck? You know, there's a guy who directed Black Mirror. There's actors. There's lighting technicians, gaffers.
Okay.
A person who scores the music. You're going to just sit there to hundreds of thousands of people that listen to the show and just say it sucks. Wow.
Okay. All right. Let me clarify my statement. Everybody loves Black Mirror. Okay.
All those people suck.
No. A lot of people recommend it, and perhaps I just need to give it another chance, okay? Because I watched one episode, the first ever episode, and the Prime Minister has got to fuck a pig live on TV, right? Otherwise, someone gets murdered or something like that. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm sorry, I'm better than this. So I turned it off, and I haven't gone back, right? I don't need to watch a show about the Prime Minister of England. Do you not bloody put a stain on Great Britain by saying the Prime Minister has to fuck a pig live on TV? I'm like, you know what? This is dumb. This is treason. This is blasphemous. No, turn it off. Never to be seen again. So I don't know. Maybe the rest of the show is good. Maybe I got to go back.
I've only watched maybe 4 or 5 episodes. That episode being one of them. I actually watched that episode, and I thought it was a great episode. That one was good. The pedophile one was great. Oh, it was so good.
Well,
yeah, there's a bunch
the reason I brought up the Sirius XM thing is because, like, it just started me thinking about all these other things that you have to pay for. Do you know what I mean? But where they've just got you by the balls, you know, and you've got no choice, but you got to pay it. So they just charge you extra money because you want your Sirius, because everyone, you get used to it. You're in your car, you want to hear Howard, you want to hear music, whatever it is. But they're going to charge you $15 to cross it over, and they know you're going to pay it. Right, just like when you're at the airport and you got to change a flight. You call them up, you know, they charge you, I don't know, sometimes $100 to change a flight. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Or when you go to, this is a good one, when you go to a gas station these days, to use your card at the machine, they charge you 35 cents. It's only 35 cents. No one's going to complain. You're going to do it. But it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit.
Times
you know what I'm saying?
are tough since Michael Bisping found out that his knee needs to be replaced. He's starting to think about every penny. He's like, what am I going to do? I can't walk. I can't run. There's no comeback. The comeback that you were all hoping for, it's out the window, baby boys. Because there was a price that we could have gotten Michael Bisping back into that fucking cage. But now it's not happening.
ATM machines charging $3 to take some money out. It's my fucking money. I put it in there in the first place. I would like access to the money that I'm giving to you, that you're making interest of, and you give me bank charges, and you're going to charge me $3 to take it out of the goddamn wall. Nothing, Lewis. You're an immigrant, for crying out loud.
I don't even have a bank card. I have cash in a shoebox underneath my bed. So, yeah, I'm with you. I mean, but in a weird way, I don't know.
You kind of what? You're kind of on the bank side. You're kind of on Sirius XM side. Nah, that sounds about right.
They got it right.
You still got Marissa floating about here. Marissa Reeves, there, our producer from Sirius. Yeah, I see her. She does podcasts. You're in bed with them. I knew it.
Yeah. No. Look, I'm not a fan of Sirius XM at all. I think that that's a dying brand. I mean, think about that. They have these satellites in space, billion-dollar satellites, to do literally what we're doing right now. There's no difference. They don't need it. Think about this technology, these satellites that are orbiting around the Earth right now. Why?
Listen, I will say this. Yes, satellites orbiting around the world, but we never used to digitize. If we spoke at the same time, we wouldn't digitize, So those $1 million satellites that they have, they're useful for one thing, the non-digitization of Michael Bisping. And I think they're worth every goddamn penny.
Nothing to do with the digitization.
Digitization? Why is that?
Because we would use an ISDN line. So essentially we were going through a phone line. That's what was going on. This has nothing to do with the satellites. Really, well, our connection the satellites were sending us to cars and all over the world or all over wherever, right? But our connection was actually through a phone line, which technically we can set up an ISDN line. It's just sort of...
Let's do it, baby boy.
Well, now we have the LA studio as well, which when are you going to be back in LA? We should do studio to studio.
Anyway, we should. But anyway, all right, let's move on. Let's get into some fight stuff for the weekend, because there's a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to digest, and a lot of stuff that I have an opinion on. Do you know what? Normally we start with the main event, but the one thing I want to talk about first, there's two big things. Of course, Gagey had a phenomenal win over Cowboy Cerrone at the weekend. And then there's a bit of drama unfolding with himself and McGregor. Co-main event. Who was the co-main event? Oh, Glover Teixeira. He had a tough win against Misha Serkinov. But no, not Misha Serkinov, Nikita Krylov, pardon me. I always get them two confused, and that could be classed as racist. Misha Serkinov, Nikita Krylov, But I think they're not, whatever. I get them confused. Todd Duffy, here we go. Harrington on the standby, please. We are ramping up. Big guy, was in the UFC years ago. Hits hard, right? Big knockout artist. I'm not sure what happened to him. Is Harrington listening, by the way? Is he there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Harrington, what happened? Because was there a shroud of controversy surrounding Todd Duffy why he left the UFC? Because I know he came to the UFC. He had a couple of big knockouts, and then he went off fighting in Japan or something like that. What actually happened with him?
I remember him in Never Back Down 2, and I was like, well, this is it. Now he's going to take off.
Well, Todd Duffy, I know that he had like a pretty bad knee replacement after, I think it was his last
You're
fight.
a fucking asshole. I'm sorry, dude. He's being a dickhead
Right.
now.
What?
I'm sorry.
Are you serious, Harrington? Oh, my God. Hold on. Yo, stop. You saying he had a knee replacement and he still fought? What? Tell me more.
He probably would have had to run a little bit in preparation for this fight, if I had to guess.
Listen, I'm just going to let you know. The rumors are circulating online that I'm fighting next year in Manchester. Okay? The cat is out the bag. Okay? Now, I can't go into it because of contracts negotiations and whatnot, but there may be some truth to that. But anyway, continue, Harrington.
Well, he took 4.5 years off. So if you can get back in under a year, you are smoking Todd Duffy. But yeah, no, that was...
Whoa, listen, I am not smoking Todd Duffy's. Okay? Carry on.
Yeah, so it was just a long injury history, and general lack of interest. And yeah, he wanted to make his return. He was a lot of talk before this fight about how he wanted to fight Greg Hardy and right some wrongs and all that.
Yeah. Okay. I thought there was something bigger than that. All right. So anyway, Lewis, you didn't see this one, but did we have the thing? Because what happened was he went out there. He was fighting the other guy. I forget his name. I apologize. And
Jeff
it was a good scrap. Jeff Hughes. That's right. And Jeff Hughes was he started to do well because Duffy went out there, was landing a lot of shots, seemed to be overtaking the fight, but then Duffy started slowing down and Hughes started landing some big shots as well. And it was a really enjoyable fight. And then they're against the fence, and then Duffy just goes, and the referee steps in. Now look at this, Lewis, closely. Hold on.
Let's see. A little thumb in the eye. Okay.
Okay, all right. So I didn't see it from that angle last time, but it did appear there to be a little thumb in the eye. So the thumb goes in the eye, and he goes, ref. And the referee knows the score, right? If you say to the referee or to a doctor, I can't see, or I'm seeing double, they're going to call the fight, right? Now, maybe...
They have to every time. So fighters know to just lie. Straight up lie.
He said several times to the referee, I'm seeing double.
Yeah.
Right. And the referee wouldn't call the doctor in. Am I right, Harrington? Did you watch this, Harrington?
Yeah. So he checked in with Duffy a number of times, asking, "Are you all right, Todd? Are you all right? Can you continue?" And he just kept saying, "I'm seeing double." And if I'm not mistaken, Duffy was the one who called for the doctor.
Yeah. And the referee was like, he was hesitant to call the doctor in because he knows the ramifications of what Duffy's saying. You know what I mean? But it was Duffy that wanted the doctor in. Now, listen, far be it from me to say,
fighter is conscious of this. Like, you know, in that moment, if you're calling for the doctor and you
want the fight to be stopped. There you go. I said it. It's a difficult position for me to say because I work for the UFC. I've got to be careful. But I got to say, when I saw that, I was like, I don't know. And if I'm wrong, I apologize. But I don't think I am. He was saying, I'm seeing double. Well, what does that mean? He said, I'm seeing double out of my left eye. So what does that mean? You're seeing triple because you got vision in your other eye. So you're seeing one out of that eye and two out of that eye. So you're seeing triple. I mean, how does that work? I'm seeing double out of my left eye. I'm sorry, I don't get that.
Hit the one in the middle. It's from Rocky, right? Hit the one in the middle.
There you go. But exactly. But I don't think it's possible because your brain, from my understanding, if you're seeing double out of one eye, your brain cuts off the image because it's too confusing. So I don't know. And I hope I'm wrong. And if I am, I apologize. But it just seemed a little weak, if I'm honest.
You feel like Todd Duffy wanted a way out of that fight because most of the time, even if you couldn't see, has there ever been a time where you couldn't see in a fight and then you're like, oh, no, I see fine. And you were just like, fuck it.
Every single fight since 2013. Okay. Yes, there's been a time where I couldn't fucking see. Do you want me to pop my eyeball out right now live on air? Because I can, but I won't. This one right here, as fake as they fucking come.
On the one of the lost episodes, Bisping got hammered in the at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on beer and just kept on popping out his eye the whole show.
Did I?
Yes.
When?
The deleted episode. You have no idea. I swear to God.
No, we'll talk about this off air. I don't recall this at all.
Everyone said
anyway,
yes.
Whatever. All right, okay. So listen, and if I'm wrong, I apologize. But I think that what the UFC should do is run that fight back because Jeff Hughes was starting to turn that fight around and he was doing well. And Todd Duffy, listen, there's a good chance. There's a good chance that maybe he couldn't see properly. And if you can't see properly, then maybe it was the right call. Okay, I guess I'm just trying to now be fair to Duffy because who knows? You know what I mean? If he couldn't see right, then he shouldn't have continued to fight because Jeff Hughes is a big, strong, powerful man. He's a heavyweight. It's a tricky one, though. It is a tricky one, and I'm sure the crowd were pissed off. I'm sure Jeff Hughes was pissed off because it did look like Duffy was starting to slow down and get a little gassed, and Hughes was starting to come into the fight. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, look, I'm kind of torn. I understand what you're saying, and you can speak better on this than most people because you're former, actual fucking champion. But, it's like, I can't blame a guy if he truly can't see. He truly can't see.
I know.
Really injured, like legitimately. Isn't it technically better to say, fuck it, I'd rather fight another day? It just isn't the story you want to hear. They're not writing a movie about this scene. It's like, that's just the least badass, ending to a fight ever.
Well, okay, so devil's advocate, yeah, you're absolutely right. It really is. The smart thing to do would be to have the humility and the brain power to say, hold on, my vision's impaired. I'm calling this a day. Get the doctor in here. I can't see right. Call this fight. Make it a no contest, and we'll do it again. Because he just thumbed me in the eye. Now, the numbskull in a fighter's brain, the fighter, the part of in our heart and our mind that makes us a fighter that says, no, I'm still going to fight. That part would say, fuck this, I'm good. Come on, let's go. But that's not the smartest thing. So maybe I'm wrong. And if I am wrong, I apologize to Todd Duffy for what I said. But I think they should run that fight back because it was a really enjoyable fight.
Yeah. I ended up I was at a wedding on Saturday night, so I couldn't watch all of the fights. I ended up watching my good friend Zach Amico. Good friend Zach Amico walked his mom down the aisle. Lot of fun.
I was going to say you walked his mom down the aisle and you took to Twitter and Instagram, I believe, and hinted at perhaps sexual relations with the mother of the groom.
And by the way, Bisping texted me afterwards. He's like, "Did you bang Zach's mom? Ha ha." And then I was like, "No." And then he texted me and he's like, "I know, I'm kidding." And then I was like, "Well, you obviously don't know me at all. If you don't think that I would fuck Zach's mom for the story, to be able to on the podcast bring up the fact that I fucked his mom at his wedding, it would be hilarious." There we are. Look at her. I would have done it too. I swear to God, I would have done it.
Look. At Zach is not funny's wedding, walking his mum down the aisle. We might bang later, right? And when I saw that, I just laughed my ass off. I'm like, you do not care. You do not give a flying fuck. It was hilarious. So funny. I had to text you. And you're like, I'm joking. I'm like, yes, I know, you idiot. And you're like, I don't know. So anyway, that's funny. All right. How was the wedding, by the way? A lot of fun?
It was cool. Very punk rock. It was in a rock club. It wasn't like, your big which if I ever got married, I would do that. I would rent a small space, make it cool, have a bunch of friends, save the money, and then spend that money on something awesome. Spend that money on like a vacation, a down payment on a house, whatever it is. The amount of money that people spend on weddings is crazy. I guarantee the Bisping wedding was over the top. Guaranteed.
Well, hold on. Well, here's where you're wrong. But I mean, define over the top. I mean, there has to be a scale, right? If some people, can't afford sandwiches, then they might define catering as over the top. Ours, it was an expensive wedding. It was too expensive. And you're absolutely right. I agree with what you said. You shouldn't do that. You should just have a nice, humble wedding, save the money, and as you say, use it for a nice honeymoon or a vacation or a down payment on a house or to launch a business or whatever. There's a million different uses you can do than having that big, stupid wedding. For me, like our wedding, I mean, it was small. We had about 45, 50 people there, I think, which, considering, we're English and Australian, wasn't too bad. But it wasn't anything over the top. It really wasn't. But even still, in a small wedding like that, and we tried to do it properly, obviously, we had caterers and we had, a string quartet and we had bloody, we tried to do it nice, and that started getting out of control. And it did. And we spent a lot of money. So I started cutting corners towards the end. Right? And the one thing that I wish we had, that I don't give a fuck about anything else now, but I cut it on the videographer. I'm like, we don't need a videographer, right? And that's the one thing that I wish we did have. The fucking food, the steak, the whatever it was, didn't matter. But the one thing that we could have had where we could sit down one day in years to come and watch the video and reminisce and rejoice and look back at the memories, we don't have, right? We did have a photographer, but he didn't really do the best job either. We only just got the pictures, and I got a bone to pick with that guy. But let me tell you, we didn't get the videographer. So, and I like the way that you try and throw in a negative connotation. I guarantee the Bisping wedding was over the top and stupid. Try to make out that I'm la-di-da. I don't like that.
It's not that you're la-di-da. I just know that I've been to Bisping Manor, and I know the taste that you guys have. I know that the lifestyle that you guys keep up now. So I could not imagine it being a shit wedding. It was a compliment, Mr. Bisping. How about you learn how to take a compliment from what's in your life?
All right. Well, no, thank you. But it was kind of a compliment dressed up as an insult. Some would call it a complisult, is a common term I hear in the Americas.
Yeah, I would. If I was going to get married, I would do a small party. The whole, spending $10,000. I don't. First of all, I have no idea how much a wedding costs. It could be $20,000. It could be $100,000. It could be anything in between. I have no idea. I just feel like there's probably so much wasted money. Like, because then it's your wife's day. I know what it's like when I take a chick on vacation. You don't want to feel cheap. Like, this is like, in your mind, you're going, we're only getting married once, so I'm not even going to look at the price of the string quartet. Fuck it. Whatever they cost, it doesn't matter. I love this woman. I want to show her the best day possible. And people that are in that industry know that, and they take advantage of it. And there's probably just so much extra cost when you sort of hire a wedding planner, you hire somebody to put it all together, that's just not needed. They take advantage of people's love for each other and this romantic thing. It happens all the time. It's the same thing with kids. You have a kid, we didn't think about anything when we were setting up my son's nursery. Like, we didn't look at the prices of anything we were buying. We just wanted to buy the absolute best stuff for him, because your first kid, you want to give him the best stuff possible, and they know they can take advantage of people.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of what happened to us. So I approached and we're going to get into the fights in a minute, I promise. But I approached everything to do with that wedding, like, with a hostile attitude, because I knew I was getting fucking ripped off. Like, my wife wanted a wedding planner, right? And she still to this day swears by her, said that she made it so easy and so stress-free and all the rest of it, it really helped. And by all accounts, she did. And she was a very nice person, but still, every time we went for a meeting and I'm with this goddamn wedding planner, I'm like, I know what she's trying to do. I know you're trying to upsell us. I know you're trying to sell us the most expensive things and this and that. And we had to go down and we had to taste what we were going to eat on the day. I'm like, we don't need to do this. We don't need to do a tasting for the wedding, okay? We don't need to taste a variety of different dishes. I know what steak tastes like. Go ahead.
New scam. You guys can simply just call bakeries and let them know that you're getting married and let them know that you want to do tasting, and they will just invite you in for like a tasting sampling. You don't have to pay for anything.
That was my favorite part about the wedding preparation, of going in for the free food after a training session and trying the said steak. But I think we had to pay for it as well. Yeah, you're right. Most of those things, like the wedding dress and stuff. I mean, listen, you only get married once, hopefully. Hopefully, some people get married many times, but hopefully it's just for one time. And me and Rebecca, we'd been together a long time, so the wedding, we wanted to formalize the relationship. We wanted myself, Rebecca, and the children all to have the same last name. And you got to give the lady the special day that they require.
Is it because of her, though? Did you want to get married? Because I have no interest in getting married ever, but if I was with a woman that really cared, that really wanted to be married, because I don't care, I'd go, sure, let's get married. It's a weird commitment to make.
Yeah, I wanted her to have that day that she dreamed about ever since a little girl. I think most girls, and I may be wrong, certainly in this modern day and age, are
very
feminists.
Sexist. Whoa. You saying every little girl wants to be married to a knight in shining armor? Maybe you haven't seen fucking Frozen or any of the new movies. Women don't need men anymore. Okay, they have each other.
I haven't seen Frozen. Okay, and if you've sat down with James and watched it, I'd say this: I think that's more aimed or directed at little girls. See? I'm sorry.
Exactly.
There you go.
Very close-minded. Very close. See, by the way, Netflix, take notice. This isn't me. This is not me. I'm not saying anything.
Take notice, Netflix. I want season 2 of Hyperdrive. Shame on you. Edit this out. In fact, cancel the fucking show. I'm done. It's over, baby boy. Fuck.
Imagine you gave up the podcast for Hyperdrive.
I'd do that.
You would. He fucking would. By the way, everyone that loves him on the show, he would sell you guys out in a heartbeat. If they promise him season 3 of Hyperdrive right now, he'd be like, I'll never do the podcast again. He wouldn't look back.
I want to get season 2 first, doggy. Okay, season 3. Gee, I'd sell my Wi-Fi for season 3. Jesus Christ, I'm gone. I'm gonna go live on the moon. What were we talking about? I don't know. Who knows? All right, should we get into these goddamn fights? You threw me off on a wedding there. I got I would have loved it if we did the podcast when I was doing the wedding, because I had so much material to bitch about. Oh my God. Like, I didn't get the suit. I didn't get my suit until the day before. It didn't fit properly. Oh God, it's a whole thing. Anyway, all right, the fights. Here's what I want to talk about. Other than the main event, there was a fight with Michelle Pereira taking on Tristan Connolly. Now, Tristan Connolly made his UFC debut at the weekend. I'd never heard of him before. And I looked at him, Tristan Connolly, and I looked at this Michelle Pereira, I think they fought at 170. And the size difference between these two guys was enormous. And when you looked at this Tristan Connolly, you thought, oh my God, talk about a lamb to the slaughter, right? And he's from Vancouver, so they brought him on, and he took the fight on 5 days' notice, which obviously is very courageous. So shout out to him for that. And the commentator Brendan Fitzgerald was talking about how he works in some building as a businessman, and at lunchtime he teaches some of the execs and stuff down in the basement, teaches them jiu-jitsu and stuff. I'm like, this doesn't sound like a guy that's going to do too well here. And on the scale, he was fighting this guy. What are you showing us here? What are you attempting to bring up?
I was just trying to show that I was trying to get Brian to show us the size difference between the two guys, but it's okay.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm doing a good job of painting it. Anyway, they walked out, and he walked out, and he's Canadian, much like the English. He's very white, and he clearly not on steroids. He looked in decent shape, but I'm not saying he wasn't particularly jacked or nothing. And his opponent walks out. Looks, and again, looks. I didn't say is. Looked juiced to the gills, ripped to fucking bits. Looked like he competes at 2 weight classes above him. And as he walked out, it took him about an hour to get to the octagon. He's doing a little dance routine with his cornerman, which is cool. I liked it. It made me smile. It made me laugh. It was definitely an entertainment factor there. But then he gets into the octagon. He's backflipping all over the place. He break dances for about bloody an eternity. Was what
this
it
is the
felt
guy
like.
who did a backflip during the weigh-ins, correct?
Absolutely. And then they showed it as he was walking in. They cut to the weigh-ins yesterday on the Friday. He does a backflip off the scale. So clearly a very, very explosive guy. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, this does not look good for the local boy. Right. And then the fight starts, and this Michel Pereira is going at him like a madman, but he's running around. He's jumping off the fence. He's backflipping. He's cartwheeling. Right. Look at this. Look at it there. Jumps off the fence. Boom, does that. A moment later after that, Tristan Connolly was on the floor on his back, and then he does it again. He does a standing somersault to try and stomp on his stomach. Now, don't get me wrong, for style points, for moves, it was awesome. It was great, and I'm watching it, and I'm kind of gobsmacked as I'm watching it going, hey, well, number one, this guy's an athletic freak, what he can do. But secondly, I'm thinking, he's going to fucking tire out in a minute. He is going to tire out because
it's a lot of energy to do all of those extra flips.
It's a lot of fucking energy. And guess what? Fighting takes a lot of energy out of it. And as I say, he walked in, he danced, he got into the octagon, he break danced for about 2 minutes, and then he's backflipping in the ring. And guess what happens, Lewis? Take a wild guess what happened.
I'm going to guess that we got a nice little slice of, MMA justice, as they say.
A little bit of humble pie was served, which isn't fair, right? Because, maybe he doesn't need humble pie, but he ran out of gas.
Yeah, he does. If you're doing backflips like that, I think it's fun. I think it's silly, but I'm hoping every single time that you get your head kicked off in the fucking cage. Any of that flashy shit, any of that. There's a couple memes that are out there where like really cocky fighters get put in their place. We watched it happen, obviously on a very high level. Anderson Silva with Chris Weidman back in the day, just all the shucking and jiving and all the. I love Anderson Silva. I'm a fan. Will always be a fan of Anderson Silva. But when he got knocked out, I remember just going like, well, don't fucking be a show off, dude. You're if you want to show off like that, when you lose, everyone's gonna love it.
Yeah, that was a great example, actually, because that is probably the most high-profile one.
Yeah.
He was doing all that stuff, and then Weidman hit him, and then he pretends to be knocked out. And so then Weidman follows it up and actually fucking knocks him out. It's like, oh, my God, what are you doing? What just happened? And then, of course, they rematch, and he snaps his leg in the rematch. He's like, poor guy. You had to feel for Anderson in that occasion. Anyway, so, yeah, he gets tired. Funnily enough, guess what? He gets tired because he keeps fucking backflipping all over the place. And, to be honest, shouldn't take away from Tristan Connolly's performance because he had a very good performance. He had some good takedowns. The striking was good. He looked very tough. And on the ground, he threatened with a lot of submissions. It went to a decision. It was a clear-cut victory for Tristan Connolly. And then it came out afterwards that he got fight of the night, but because his opponent, Pereira, didn't make weight, Connolly got the $50,000 from each side because if you don't make weight, you're not eligible for the bonus. Therefore, Connolly went back home with the biggest win of his career and an extra $100,000. So bravo to that man. Well done, sir.
And in Canada, $100,000 will set you up for the rest of your life. It is, it's basically, snowy Mexico up there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I disagree. But, that's awesome. I love to see that because he seems like a nice guy, a blue-collar guy, a hard-working guy. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's like some big financial stockbroker. Who knows? Because he works in a business somewhere. But that was awesome. That was great. And well done to that guy. Can't wait to see him fight again. In fact, Harrington, while we're just talking, can you check on how many Twitter followers he has. Because I retweeted him and said, give this guy a follow. And he was on 200 Twitter followers then, like 220 or something.
Hold on, let's
that.
guess. Let's guess before we know. How much influence does Michael the Count Bisping have?
Whoa. Hold on. If it's exceptional, I'll take the credit. If it's a low figure, you got to understand that he was on ESPN at the weekend. This is not only my doing. Okay, he was all over the world. He was on the post-fight show. He was loading it up, chatting to people. He's probably on Ariel Helwani's show this morning. Okay, The guy's a big deal. If it's a big number, I'll take the credit though. What number we on? Lewis, give me a guess. As I said, when I retweeted him, he was on like 220. What do you think?
I'm going to guess that he's got 2,168 followers.
I'm going to say 3,500.
It's right in the middle, guys. 3,101.
Wow.
Closer to Bisping.
No, I'm Price is Right rules, you piece of shit. I'm closer without going over.
Whoa.
He went over. He doesn't get the Showcase Showdown. Sorry, baby boy.
Nice terminolo. So anyway, so congrats to that guy. Well done. That was awesome. And you know what, Michel Pereira, I want to see that guy fight again as well. I think, if you're a guy like that, you obviously got a lot of athletic ability. And Harrington, what's the statement? Pereira came out and gave a statement as to the reason why he feels that he lost that fight. Go ahead.
Guys, many bad things happened. I got tired, but not because of the things I did, but for the huge weight cut I had. I had to cut 17.5 kilograms, about 38.5 pounds by myself with no one else to help, dealing with the stress of helping with my cornerman's visa who wasn't there. Everyone else had someone to help. I was alone there. It's not an excuse, but I know I'm a fighter that grows as rounds go by. But I got tired since my body shut down in the beginning of the second round. I fight for you guys to put on a show for you. Let's support more and criticize less. I fight this way to make UFC more fun. Fighters today only think about winning and putting on boring fights, and that's why MMA is decreasing so much. I want to make my fans happy by watching my fights, but this time things happened and led to my defeat. I lost to myself. I will be back to do it even better. You'll see I have cardio to fight 3 rounds, no problem.
I believe him, by the way. He definitely has cardio because he's doing triple axel fucking Olympic flips in the middle of a MMA fight. So he's doing another extremely difficult sport very well in the middle of another sport. It's like Sport Matrix. He's a guy all he had to do was do it a little less. 50% of the backflips.
Just do one of the sports. That's all you got to do. You ever got to do multiple sports at once? Okay, listen. To a certain degree, he is correct, and his cornerman never made it because of a visa issue. Yeah, that sucks. Couple of things. One, don't show up 17 kilos overweight. That's your issue. That is nobody else's, not his cornerman, not his team, not his manager, not Dana White's, not the commentator. Nobody else in the world is responsible for your weight other than the fighter in question. Even if you have a nutritionist that you pay, you're still the one putting the food in your mouth. Okay, so number one, he's got to take care of that. Secondly, the weight cut would have been hard, and that does definitely take away from your conditioning. Here's the thing. If you had a hard weight cut, like you said, don't do the backflips. That's all you got to do. Just don't do the backflips. Just don't somersault. And I do like what he said. I do like the fact he's trying to put on an exciting performance. Okay. And it was fun. And we're talking about it now. But you got to win fights first and foremost. You have got to win the fights.
And, look, Pettis was the guy who probably the highest profile guy that does crazy shit, right? Pettis picks and chooses. He picks and chooses those moments to explode. It's not just showboating so much like that. I mean, that's so over the top. When he does like 3 flips in a row in the middle of the fight. It's so over the top that it crosses a line into kind of like silly, where you go like, all right, you're not trying to win the fight. First and foremost, you should be trying to win this fight. Not entertaining shouldn't be the first goal in the fight. Winning the fight should be the first goal, and being entertaining and all of those other factors that come into play should sort of fall right underneath that first thing, which is absolutely winning that fight. And to be honest with you, looking at that fight and watching these moments where he's exploding that way and seeing the fact that he gassed, if he just stuck to a specific game plan and was just committed to just fighting better than Tristan Connolly, I think he probably would have just won the fight.
Well, he may have won the fight, and that's why before I was trying to pick my words carefully, because we don't want to take away from Tristan's performance, because it was a hell of a debut in the UFC. We're talking about him. I mean, Jesus Christ, his Twitter following has gone up 15 times. You know, I mean,
crazy.
Jesus Christ, that's the power of the Believe You Me podcast. You know, we get behind someone, you know, and they just skyrocket. They go through the roof. It's insane. Harry, to just go back to his statement in a second. Did he say, Pereira, that he does this for the fans? Is that what he said?
Yes, sir.
I hate that. I honestly do. Listen, I mean, good for him. And as I say, I want to see Pereira fight again. I am a fan of his and he has a ton of potential. But a lot of people use that line. And I'm not talking about Pereira. I'm talking about a lot of fighters in general, a lot of boxers, a lot of sportsmen, period, Lewis, go out there and say, I do this for the fans. No, you fucking don't. You do it for yourself. Listen, of course you want to be involved in exciting fights. You want the fans to go crazy. But you didn't do all those years on the mat and the sparring and the training or on the football field or whatever it is for the fans. You did it for yourself because you want to make something better of your life. And there's no shame in admitting that. We're all here trying to get ahead in life. But don't give me that cop-out say, I did it for the fans. I fight for you. I perform for you. I make all these sacrifices. Listen, I always had a ton of support whenever I fought. But I'll be honest. I mean, I'm greatly appreciative of all the support, but I did it for my family. I made the sacrifices for my family. I didn't fucking do it for some people I don't know. I appreciate their support. I appreciate the respect. But when I was fucking dying, you know, and beat up and sore and in pain and in agony and hungry and couldn't be bothered doing it anymore, I still continued to do it because I wanted to provide for my family and become world champion. I did it for me, for selfish reasons, if I'm honest.
That's weird. I do everything for the fans. For me, I mean, just for me, I have the relationship that I have with the believers and the people that listen to these podcasts. I mean, you know, whatever. But I'm, you know, we're different people. That's fine.
Are you going to use the terminology that gets you thrown off Saturday Night Live for the fans? Do it for the fans. Do it.
I do it for the chinks.
Oh, don't say that. I'm kidding. Jesus Christ. I was kidding.
What am I supposed to do? I can't stop. I can't turn this off, Bisping.
Oh my God.
Look, I agree with you. I think that the whole concept of doing it for the fans, look, everyone knows this, okay? I'm in terms of like podcasters and comedians, I'm one of the most approachable. I respond to people. I go back and forth with people on Twitter. If you write me a direct message, there's a good chance you're going to hear back from me. Like but I'm also a narcissist, so I'm feeding my own ego while I'm doing that. People do things. I used to really believe like that sort of Freudian sort of theory that people do things to feel great, to feel like they're important, and to get laid. It's sort of those two categories. The only reason why people have motivation to really do anything. But then I had a kid, and as a dad, it's very funny because now that's like the motivation for everything. I still want to feel great. You still want to get pussy or get laid or whatever it is, right? But at the same time, once you have a family, that becomes the absolute number one priority. So I've shifted my way of thinking to a certain degree. But if you have made it into the UFC, if you've gotten to the big show and you've gotten that good at fighting, there's more than likely those motivations are because you want to feel great. You want to, have a lot of money. You want to have hot chicks, get laid, have the nice cars. You want to, you have a competitive streak. You're an athlete. That sense of greatness, like that's built into some people where they need to feel as if they achieved or they need to feel as if they're the best in a certain category. Or you have a family that you want to provide for and you want to make sure you can put food on the table. But yeah, nobody is getting up and going, hey, you see that guy in the third row? It's about him today.
I'm doing it for him, man. I'm doing it for him. I'm doing it for the fans. As I said before, yes, of course, you want to be appreciated. You want to put on a good show. I always wanted to put on a good show. But again, that kind of comes from the ego as well. I wanted to be known as an exciting fighter. And I was just naturally by that. That's just the way I fought. I was a striker, but all these people, I do it for the fans. I do it for the fans. I just think that's a fucking cop-out. Listen. Anyway, there you go. I don't want to offend any more people. All right, main event. Get into the main event. Justin Gaethje, Donald Cerrone. I mean, by now, anybody hearing this, watching this, knows what happened. Gaethje went out there, knocked him out inside the first round. You watched it this morning. A lot of things happened. Where do you want to start? How should we approach this?
I mean, I was surprised. Who'd you pick officially in the fight?
Well, I put on 55 BYM coins on Justin Gaethje to win by knockout. I did. Wow. In fact, I had to borrow 50 BYM coins of Harrington, okay, which he did gracefully lend. But you're not getting them back yet, Harrington. I didn't say when I'd pay you back. Let me build that account up a little bit more.
Is
I
there
use
interest?
the analogy like, no, there's no fucking interest. I gave him the 1,000 to start with, or the 500 to start with. I'm just taking back 50 of them. Stop looking at Harrington. Stop looking at him. And what was he doing? Was he shaking his head? Was he saying no? There's
Yeah.
interest. Yes, there's interest.
No, he was saying there's no interest, but he also made a face like, oh shit, I should have charged interest.
Nope.
Tough shit, baby boy.
I'm only going to ask for it back if I get to 9,950.
9,950. You want that 50 BIM coin back?
He's not going to get it. I'm just refusing to give it you. There you go. I'm not Michael Lannister. I'm Michael Bisping. Okay.
What are the numbers right now
say?
with BIM coin? Who has what?
I have 88. You have almost nothing, Lewis.
I got 50 BIM coin, baby, and I have to borrow no money either. This is my own BIM coin. I have pride. I'm not taking BIM coin from another man. What'd you have to do for that BIM
homeless
coin?
man at that.
What'd you do
A
for that?
homeless man.
We said Harrington is the gas digital garden gnome. Like he just sits in the garden.
Let's hear the breakdown of the BIM coins. Where are we at, Harrington?
Well, Lewis got it right. He has 50. You have 88.33, and I'm slightly ahead with 1,632 and 22 cents.
Taking it very, very seriously. Okay, well, good for you. Well done. Yeah, listen, I did have Justin Gaethje winning. I just thought, I mean, if you look at him, you know, he hasn't got as many miles on the clock, simple as that. Donald Cerrone, he went out there and he fights one way. You know, always wears, you know, he's a fighter's fighter. Donald Cerrone, he walks forward, he'll stand in the pocket, he'll trade with people. He's a super exciting fighter. He does it for the fans every single time. That's why he fights like that, Lewis. He does it for the fans. I just thought Justin Gaethje, I mean, he knocked out Edson Barboza, he knocked out James Vick in the first round. You know, he's just a younger guy and, you know, less miles on the clock. And
I thought the less miles on the clock was going to probably be working Donald Cerrone's favor. I just thought Donald Cerrone had been in that big show so many times and fought such high-level competition, and I feel like that's where Gaethje was lacking. He didn't have anywhere near as many main events. He didn't have anywhere near as many big fights in the UFC. Yeah, I thought Donald Cerrone was going to beat him almost anywhere it went. I really did. I mean, call me crazy. Who was Cerrone the underdog in the fight? Or Gaethje was, right?
Yeah. No, Gaethje was the favorite. I think he was a pretty significant favorite going into it. I mean, if you look at that right hand that he knocked out James Vick with, Justin Gaethje, I mean, that was a heavy fucking right hand. And that's kind of how I saw this fight going down, and that's what happened, you know. I mean, Cerrone is traditionally kind of a slow starter, but he wasn't particularly slow in this one. But still, he just seemed to be getting clipped. That right hand was the money shot for Gaethje every time. As soon as he got inside the pocket, he would connect with the right hand, and a lot of them were just glancing blows. But then one of them he hit, he went down, and he followed him up. It was a good finish. I know Gaethje got a little pissed off at the referee for not stepping in there sooner. I feel like the referee was giving Cerrone a bit of a chance to try and fight out of the situation.
I respect that too, because you have to. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're good. I was just going to say maybe Cerrone could have, you know, kind of pulled guard and gone to his back, you know. So I thought the referee did the right thing. I didn't have any issue really. You know, Cerrone is a big boy. Something Jaron Varel or something. I forget his name. Something weird like that.
A lot of times these experienced referees, we saw it happen in the Brock Lesnar-Shane Carwin fight. We've seen it happen a few times where you get referees that have a lot of experience. They know the fighters really well. And there's a little bit of an X factor there. Donald Cerrone is a tough son of a bitch who will fight to the very end. I think the ref was giving him an opportunity to recover. There's some nuance there. Should it be black and white? Should the referees not be able to make that personal judgment call and go like, well, Donald Cerrone is a different fighter than, you know, fighter B. He's a little more gritty. He's taken more damage and come back before. Do you think that we should have that nuance there, or do you think it should be a little bit more black and white? Because some would say late stoppage. I understood, dude. He didn't recover. If he recovered, it'd be a brilliant call by the ref. But because he didn't recover, it was just him sort of taking extra damage for no reason.
I don't think he took extra damage for no reason. I feel that the referee called it just right, to be honest. He went down. And to answer your question, I don't think the referees do. I don't think the referees take into account the historic way that fighters perform. You know, they won't look at a guy like Cerrone and say, well, this guy can take a lot of damage, so therefore I'm going to allow it to go further. Now, listen, I can't quote every single referee. I can't talk about how they feel. What I can talk about is how every time I've had a referee come into my locker room, and I always say to them, don't stop this fight. Don't worry about me. Do not worry about me, okay? You worry about the other guy. I'm fine. And he just said, Michael, I'll do my job. If you're taking unnecessary damage, I'm going to stop the fight. And I think that's how all fighters are. Sorry, pardon me. All referees perform their job. I don't think, they treat different fighters any different way. He saw Cerrone drop, but he wasn't out. He was on his knees, okay? But he was getting teed off and he was getting punched in the face and he wasn't really going anywhere. He looked like he might have had a flash knockout for a second. He allowed him to try and improve his position, to flop to his back, to go to his back, to get into a defensive posture. He didn't do any of those things, so he stepped in and called off the fight. What I liked about Justin Gaethje was after the fight, he started pointing and talking shit to the referee. That's because Gaethje and Cerrone, this wasn't an enemy battle. This wasn't two guys that can't stand each other. This is two guys that trained with each other in the past. There's no bad blood. There was no beef. So he didn't like giving him unnecessary damage. But he did want to win the fight. And unfortunately, you got to keep throwing shots until the referee pulls you off. So he was just pissed that he had to hit him a few more times before the referee did his job. So I understand it from Gaethje's point of view. I don't think the referee did anything wrong. But what I do want to say is that Donald Cerrone, man, how can you not be a fan of that guy? I mean, the way he was afterwards, I don't know if you saw the post-fight speech. I mean, that guy is just a legend of the sport. I mean, you want to talk about a guy that just goes out there and, just leaves it all on the line each and every time. And then still, no talk about retiring. Still focused on being the champion.
I'm going to be the champion one day. Yeah.
I'm going to be the champion. And I'll be honest, it reminds me of me. I was the same way because I see some of my old fights and I see how I used to go, I'm going to be champion one day. I used to think, you blind fuck, what are you talking about? Do you know what I mean? But I pulled it off, so you never know. Donald Cerrone, don't count that guy out because I have done a couple of times in the past. And although I did pick Gaethje to beat him, he's still a very, very capable individual.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Donald Cerrone. I'm a fan of Justin Gaethje. Good for Justin Gaethje. That was the most high profile one that he's had. This really puts him on the map. Now, Donald Cerrone, it sounds negative, but it's really not. He's the guy to beat, which by definition, it sort of seems like, sort of a gatekeeper position where if you can beat Donald Cerrone, that you're in talks. That's like a coming out party, so to say. He's so accomplished. But now Justin Gaethje, he's in a great position. What do you want to see next for him?
For Justin Gaethje, I mean, listen, I hate to bring up his name and talk about him, but he seems to get a segment every week on the podcast because he's so... he's so talkable. He's the man that keeps making news, I guess. But Conor McGregor took to Twitter straight away afterwards and inserted himself into the conversation. Daniel Cormier asked Gaethje on the microphone in the cage, and he said, no, the Irishman's retired. I don't want to fight him. But then on the post-fight show, I don't know if you saw that, on the post-fight show, they brought up a tweet from McGregor, and it was just him in the back in his cycling equipment. So I don't know how it had any relevance to the fight whatsoever. He had on some really, really bad Lycra, and somehow they likened that to a call-out. Maybe it was. Maybe it was an indirect way of inserting himself. But I'll be honest, I'd like to see that fight. I would like to see that fight. If you look at the rankings, Cerrone, McGregor, Gaethje, they're all in a similar position. There might be 3, 4, and 5 between the three of them. I think it makes a perfect fight for McGregor. So does Cerrone, if I'm honest. I mean, if I'm McGregor's manager, I want him to fight Cerrone. I don't want him to fight Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje is a bad motherfucker and he's a very, very good wrestler. So that could be a terrible matchup. Gaethje said he wants to fight Nurmagomedov. Even hinted towards the fact that he may be happy to sit out and wait for that fight, but who knows? If he waits for the fight, that's a
way more competitive fight than at a first glance. You're like, dude, nobody's beating Khabib, but then you're like, wait a minute, Gaethje's got great wrestling, and Khabib gets hit. It's not like Khabib will take a shot in order to give one back. And we've seen Khabib in trouble a couple different times now with guys that don't have as much power as Justin Gaethje. So that fight, just from a stylistic standpoint, I kind of go like, shit, dude, that's a really interesting matchup.
Yeah, so the thing is with Nurmagomedov, as we all know, it's the wrestling that gets it done every time, right? You got to have something different. You got to bring something different to the table than what all these other people have. And predominantly, he's fighting strikers. Listen, Ali Quinta, he wrestled a little bit. Who else did he fight recently? McGregor, striker. Who else? I mean, I don't know. Edson Barboza. The list goes on. They're all strikers. You know what I mean? Ferguson is a very, very good jiu-jitsu guy who also wrestles, who has a lot of crazy kicks, a lot of crazy elbows, knees. He's a very unorthodox style. So for him, he matches up well with Nurmagomedov.
And wild and a lot of volume. He's going to it's going to be a fucking just a non-stop movement type of fight where it's like who has the stronger will in that fight. That's actually another crazy fight. 155 is heating the fuck up right now.
Yeah, that is a crazy fight, but so's Gaethje, because I was just about to say, I mean, we talked about it last time. The guy was a champion wrestler. He was a high school state wrestling champion. Then he was a good college wrestler. And now he's fighting in the UFC and doing very, very well. And he's got knockout power. So I'm telling you, that's a good fight for Nurmagomedov as well. But they got to do the Cerrone fight. The Cerrone fight, what am I saying, Cerrone? I mean, the Ferguson fight. They got to do the Ferguson fight first. That has to happen. And if McGregor comes back, then yeah, I guess give him to Gaethje. That'd be great. You know, I'd like to see any of those.
What did McGregor tweet December 14th, 2019?
No,
Dublin.
He just tweeted Dublin, December 24th or December 14th, something like that. So I Googled that date, and it turns out that's the date of UFC 242 in Las Vegas. So I don't know. Maybe that's the date of his
court appearance?
His next parole hearing, I was going to say. Yeah, court appearance. I don't know. Who fucking knows? But it's not a fight date. There's no fight happening in Dublin on that night. That's for sure.
It's the next time. It's the next time he's going to attack a fan for saying something he doesn't like.
Exactly. So yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah. Who knows? You got to look at where is McGregor? What time of night is it? And then you have to sort of take whatever he tweets with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Whatever time he tweets in America, remember you got to add on 8 hours from California.
Yeah.
You know, which normally makes it like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So then take the tweet with a pinch of salt.
Hey, Mike, we should really quickly talk about Monday.com, which is such a great sponsor. I love it. I've been using it for everything. Not only here to use it at Gas Digital, but I've been using Monday.com for all of my projects, all my comedy-related projects. When I'm working on a script, I use Monday.com. The people that I'm writing with, people that I'm producing with, they all have access to different sections of my Monday.com page. It makes it really easy to organize and track projects. If you got 2 people on your team or 1,000 people on your team, instead of sifting through emails, Mike, when's the last time you were talking to your agents or whatever it is, they send you emails like, oh, go find that email that I sent you this thing in. And then you're checking every email with attachments. And then 20 minutes later, you still haven't found it. You got to ask them to resend it. It's a nightmare.
It's a real pain in the ass, and I have to do it all the time. Like, I'm going to Mexico on Wednesday. I'm commentating. I got to go through so many emails. With Monday.com, it keeps it all organized and easy to find tabs and all that type of stuff. But here's what I say, Lewis. Here's what I want to say, pardon me. This is everybody's last chance to get a free 2-week trial at Monday.com. You got to take advantage of this opportunity for free. For free. You can see how Monday.com can save you crazy amounts of time at work. That's why I don't recommend Monday.com for those with billable hours. If you purposely want to be inefficient at work, Monday.com is not for you. In fact, it's really going to blow up your spot. You better hope your boss isn't listening to this ad. But if you are a normal human person who wants to make their job easier and be more productive at work, you have to check out Monday.com. Monday.com is an easy-to-use project management tool. The platform is suitable for any size team, from 2 freelancers working together to thousands collaborating across the globe, Lewis.
Yeah, I know. And it's really easy to set up. It takes a few minutes, super intuitive. And literally anybody, you open it up, 5 minutes later, you're on Monday.com, and you could teach everybody else how to use it. It's really, honestly, the one thing here at Gas Digital that's saving everyone's lives, saving everyone's time. I think we were at each other's throats daily here at the studios, and now everyone seems to be working as efficiently as possible. We have this 14-day free trial for you. It's the last opportunity to get a 14-day free trial from Monday.com. All you have to do is go to Monday.com/believe. You get that 14-day free trial. See if you like it. You don't have to sign up for anything. You don't have to keep it. It's going to change the way you and your team does business, though. I promise you. Go click around with it. Play around with it. You're gonna keep it. You're gonna want to keep it for the rest of your life. I promise you. All right, where were we?
All right. So, Tyson Fury. I doubt you saw that, but I just want to give a quick shout out to Tyson Fury at the weekend. It's funny because Tyson Fury and I, we went back and forth a few years ago on Twitter. We had some weird little beef. He claimed that his buddy knocked me out outside a nightclub. So he talked some shit, I talked some shit, but he really won me over the years. The way he's performing in his fights, the character that he is, how funny, how much charisma he has. and the way he fights. And obviously that fight with Deontay Wilder was awesome. He fought someone else early in the year, put him away in spectacular fashion. And then Saturday night, because he signed with ESPN Plus, Saturday night, when the fights were on ESPN Plus, they actually showed a couple of commercials for Fury's fight, which was happening later that night in Las Vegas. So I stayed with ESPN Plus and I watched the Fury fight afterwards. And I just want to talk about that real quick because he fought a guy called Otto Wallin from Sweden. And he started off really well. He clipped Fury with a big left hook, I think it was, and opened a massive cut on his eye. And it wasn't looking good for Fury, but he showed a lot of skill, a lot of heart, and he ended up winning the fight by decision. Came close to finishing him in the last few rounds. But as I say, with that cut, it was bad. There was 2 huge cuts on his right eye.
Do we got a picture?
Definitely. I hope so. I hope so. I hope we got a picture. They're bad. They're really, really big, bothersome cuts. Let's take a look.
Yeah, give him a second to pull him up. There we go. Ooh, nasty.
Let's have a look. Zoom in on one. Yeah. I think he had something like 49 stitches in that eye.
Jesus.
Yeah. And there was 2. There was that big one you see there, then one underneath it, like I don't know, half an inch away from it. So he had 2 cuts in the eye. Anyway, I just want to say, fantastic performance by Tyson Fury. Did really well at the weekend. We won't stay on it too long, but he talked about his opponent. His opponent's dad passed away, and afterwards on the microphone, he was saying, "Rest in peace to your father, Otto. I know you're making him really proud right now," and all this type of stuff. And honestly, as I said, we had some back and forth a few years ago. But he was all class. It was fucking beautiful, And I just thought, what a beautiful moment afterwards. A guy that you've just gone to war with, a guy that opened you up with a nasty cut and looked to be close to beating you in the earlier rounds. Tyson took over the fight as the fight progressed and clearly won the decision. But still, he gave him a tough fight to start with. And, but afterwards, he's talking about his father who passed away and things like that. I thought it was beautiful. So well done to that, man. Congratulations, Tyson Fury.
There was a it seems to have disappeared now at this point. We're so far removed from the boxing versus MMA conversation. There was it was the thing for a while where it was it was sort of a hot topic, but it's just we're just past it. So it was probably even a little something to do with that. They'd bring up MMA fighters to boxers, and boxers would take the need to take the moment to trash MMA and vice versa. And then also with you guys both being British, I think that's another weirdly competitive thing.
Well, there's nothing weirdly competitive between me and Tyson Fury, far from it. But you're right what you used to say, because there did used to be this weird competitive thing between UFC or mixed martial arts and boxing. But you're right, it's gone. It's gone. I think what happened was at first when it started coming up, when mixed martial arts started really gaining traction to the mainstream, a lot of boxing promoters, a lot of boxing purists, boxing fans, boxing journalists were trying to, shit all over mixed martial arts because it was a threat. It was a threat, so they were trying to stomp out that threat. They didn't want the paying public to go elsewhere to another product, which is fair enough. I understand that, but now they can't do that. They can try and shit all over mixed martial arts as much as they want. They ain't stopping it. It's done. Mixed martial arts is on ESPN. It's pretty much hit the mainstream. Maybe not all over the world, but certainly in North America and a lot of Western markets. So I think it's gone. They've given up trying to do that, because if they were trying to do that, they failed, and doing so now isn't going to achieve anything. So now the two coincide nicely, which they should, because they are different sports.
And that's the other, I think, because MMA, maybe because back then the conversation was oh, well, they're almost trying to come in and be in competition for this number one combat sport thing. And MMA has solidified itself as its own unique thing on such a main stage at this point that it's almost like everyone's kind of been all right, they are very different sports. It's not the same thing. Anybody in the know, it's as different as basketball and fucking baseball. That's how different they are. And I think that maybe, and also not for nothing, boxing seems to be on the rise. I don't know what's happened. The past year or two, boxing seems to really be at the forefront again, and people seem to be very, very excited about boxing matchups.
Yeah, well, certainly the heavyweight boxing division. I mean, because we've got heavyweight boxing is back these days. Remember that back in the glory years, you had Lennox Lewis, you had Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, you had all these legendary names, and then they all kind of went away. You had Vladimir Klitschko just beating everybody with a pretty boring style. He had no contenders. But now you got Anthony Joshua, you got Andy Ruiz, you got Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. There's a lot of great stars, a lot of great people. So, yeah, and it's nice to see. I enjoy big-time boxing fights. I do, so it's great to see. Just quickly, though, Andy Ruiz, staying on the boxing thing, he knocked out Anthony Joshua a while ago. They're rematching soon in Saudi Arabia. From what I am led to believe, from what I hear, when he fought Anthony Joshua, that was his first big payday. And you see this guy now. I mean, God bless him. Good for him. But he needs somebody to just help him spend his money, because he's driving around in Rolls-Royce Bentleys. He's got massive diamond-encrusted chains with his initials in diamonds around his neck. He's wearing $200,000 watches. Somebody please take Andy Ruiz and just look after his money, because guess what? If he doesn't win that rematch against Anthony Joshua, it's going to stop coming in pretty fast. And that money you're going to pay tax on, and managers and percentages and this and that. And there's sharks out there, and they're going to take the money. Anyone close to Andy Ruiz, give the man have a little chat in his ear and just tell him to slow the roll a little bit, please.
First of all, if you know any man that's wearing a necklace, get into his ear and let him know, what are you doing? Listen to the word. Necklace. It is lace for your neck. This is for a woman. There's no amount of gold or diamonds. If you're wearing a fucking necklace around your neck, you want to have a cock in your mouth. Period. No other ifs, ands, or buts about it. Period.
Whoa.
If you're listening to the show, you have a necklace, delete the episode right now. We don't even want your subscription.
Lucas, when we're in Hawaii.
Easy.
When we went to Dave and Buster's, he played on these things. He got those fucking vouchers, those coupons, and he got this little fake gold, obviously, from the store, a little fake gold necklace, and it says winner. And he loves this little gold necklace that says winner around his neck, and it does look so cute, and he loves to wear it still. He brought it home with him, and now and again he's like, I'm a winner, daddy, I got my necklace on. And I do feel like just ripping the necklace off and say, whoosh, you are never wearing that shit again. Number one, it's not even gold, okay? Secondly, it says winner on. No, you do not wear that. But you've never owned a gold chain, Lewis, or a necklace, or any kind of neck ornament. You must have owned something at some point. You are Puerto Rican, you are Latino, right? You live in New York,
Netflix,
right? I'm gonna say, at some point. No, Lose. That ship has sailed, buddy. Jesus Christ, a moment ago you said they're for women only. What? Only women can wear necklaces? That's the most sexist, male chauvinistic shit I've ever heard in my life.
That ship has sailed. It's over. This is the episode that gets us fired from everything.
Everything.
When I was a kid, I think I had like a gold chain that like my mom bought me or something like that, but it was garbage. It just, men aren't supposed to wear that. I was at Six Flags Great Adventure yesterday, which is like a big, amusement park. They have Six Flags out in California, and there was so many like just Puerto Rican and Dominican kids, like little kids I saw wearing like these thick gold chains, and I'm like, what are you doing? I don't understand the point of it. At least like a watch, you look kind of classy. A watch will put together the whole outfit. If you have a nice watch on, you can wear sweatpants, shitty jeans, and a t-shirt. You put a nice watch on, you're like, all right, that guy's got his shit together. He was just in a hurry. He's got to go to the gym or something. But a necklace always just sort of looks tacky and cheap, no matter how nice and expensive it is.
When I used to DJ at this nightclub years ago called Monroe's, a lot of like the gangsters used to wear like the big, thick, like gold bracelets. And I always wanted one so badly, but I could never afford one, because I was absolutely broke back then. I've never owned a gold chain. I've never owned a chain. I've never been a jewelry guy. I have a few watches now, but as you said, that's about it. Yeah, and I think a watch is about as good as it gets for a man in terms of accessories. Yeah. If you start overdoing it, you start wearing rings, and then you got the chain, and then the watch, and then the sunglasses, perhaps a hat, a fedora. I'm sorry, you're now turning into an absolute cock of a human being.
Yeah. I know what everyone's thinking right now, but I won't say it.
What are they thinking?
Nothing.
No, what are they thinking? Tell
Nothing.
Me.
They all know what they're thinking.
What?
I'll text you.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm trying to turn a corner in my life and not be a troll anymore. So I'm trying to be a better person.
Okay.
trying.
Oh my God. Stop it right now.
What?
Okay, I swear to God, I had no idea you were saying that. Right?
Look, baby, we're just out here slinging dick. Just crushing
Listen,
the podcast game.
I don't read the comments, okay? Shut the fuck up.
You read every comment.
God.
I want to get
All
some
right,
questions in. We're at about an hour and a half right now. Let's get some questions. If you guys want to join the conversation, first of all, I'll tell you this. Number one, go to our iTunes right now. Leave us a 5-star ranking, positive review. Leave us some comments. Leave us some comments on the YouTube. We love reading your comments. We will respond to them here and there as well. That is really Bisping, and it is really me. So, yes, it is. Also, go to our YouTube channel right now. If you just go to youtube.com/c/believe in me podcast, you guys can subscribe right there for all of the latest video episodes of the show. Also, as I said before, go to gasdigitalnetwork.com. Use that promo code BYM for a 14-day free trial, and just tell some friends about the show. Honestly, just share it if you're in a car on a car ride with some friends, or just send right now. Take a moment, send this episode to one of your friends who you think might like it. Just email it to them or shoot them a text message. Be like, dude, listen to this. I think you guys might like this. These guys are pretty funny. And yeah, we really appreciate it more than you guys could ever understand. If you guys want to join the conversation via question, video questions, audio questions, or even if you just want to send in fan art or anything else, bympod@gmail.com is the email address, and we will definitely get to it eventually. All right.
What do we have? We got any questions? How many questions we got? By the way, I'm now live on Instagram. Okay, I just thought I'd do it at the last minute. So everyone looking at this live on Instagram, I'm just finishing off the podcast, trying to give the podcast a little shout. But Harrington, without further ado, my amigo, please read out question number one. Or do we have a video question?
Video question first, Mike. This is from a gentleman by the name of Hayes the Ripper.
Okay.
Right. Fuck you, Harrington. Lewis, you're funny as hell. And Bisping, you're the best, man. Looking forward to reading your book and watching the documentary when it comes out. When you're training on the set of Triple Threat with Scott Adkins and Michael Jai White, do you think either of them would be able to legitimately compete in mixed martial arts? I know that White had a few kickboxing or karate matches back in the day, but how do you think they would have fared in MMA? And then for the both of you, who's your favorite comedian and why? If you're into hip-hop, check out Hayes the Ripper on YouTube. And if you got time for another question, are you going to fight again, man, Bisping? Thanks, guys.
Oh, he put us. Give him a second. Give him a second.
No. Yeah. I was gonna say, screw these guys doing the plugs, but it's okay. I want to hear the music. Play the music. Let's hear it.
On the mic, sick, nasty like a dyke. Beat the beat that classic fights, but I ain't wrestling wearing tights. I slam a judge, a gavel, beat the cop is fucking rights. Fakers won't be hard, even if you had a penis pump. Think you got that lava, so my shit will pump the meanest stump. Trash spit today, ain't even close to hip hop. Raps became cake batter, and this shit's gotta stop.
Hell yeah.
Okay. I feel like I've heard that song before, though. That sounds very, very similar to a song that I've heard. I can't remember the name of it, but a lot of people will know what I'm talking about. Any of you rap aficionados, does that sound vaguely familiar,
It
Lewis?
doesn't. Maybe the beat, though. Maybe he just used a sampled beat that somebody else had used.
The beat with like the guitar strings, if they were guitar strings, whatever that sound was, I've heard that before. I'm sure I have, but it sounded good. It was a good flow, nice beat. I like it. Good job. What he asked about Scott Adkins and Michael Jai White. We talked about this before. Yeah, we talked about this before. I mean, they're both tremendous martial artists. They're tremendous martial artists. And Michael Jai White, we actually had a little spar one day, a very, very light, very respectful, just kind of playing around in the gym. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, he's a phenomenal striker. I have no idea what his grappling's like. Of course, for mixed martial arts, you're going to be able to grapple. But I'm telling you, striking-wise, Jai White, man, Jesus Christ, he's got some power. He's got some speed, athleticism. Yeah, absolutely legit. I was totally blown away. He was very, very fast. Very fast.
Yeah, and I mean, at that point, if you're a high-level athlete with great striking, it's sort of like, if you put that, talent and that energy into that path and really it's not like Michael Jai White could just go get in the cage, oh my God, his skills. No, but he could get into a training camp, put himself around great coaches, training partners, and you feel as if he went down that path, he probably could have had a successful career in mixed martial arts.
Yeah, well, I mean, number one, he's 50 years old now. So the fact that he was as fast as explosive and has the ability that he has at 50 years old, that was, mind blowing for one. I mean, I'm 40.
It's a different thing.
Well, there you go.
Do you see the Strongest Man? That black dude who like he has holds all the like all these records in World's Strongest Man. It's just this 54-year-old like Jack Diesel black guy. It was awesome. There's a video of him holding up like 2 columns. It looks like Roman columns.
That is hard work, determination, sacrifice, dedication. Nothing to do with the tone of his skin, Lewis. Shame on you. That is terrible.
Shame bell.
That guy, it's been a while. Hold on. It's been a while, but there it is. I'll make the effort. That guy is he's getting out of bed at 4:00 in the morning, Lewis. He's hitting his goals. He's carrying around boiled eggs and tuna wherever he goes. He smells. Okay, he's working out. He's got no social life. Okay, he's a weirdo. He's a borderline weirdo. Probably has no social life. Probably got no penis because the amount of steroids that he's taking. Okay, probably infertile. But you want to undo all that sacrifice and just say it's because of the color of his skin. Shame on you.
Shame.
But you stand by it.
I stand by it. Black don't crack, baby boy. Michael Jai White looks like he's 30 years younger than me. Are you out of your fucking mind?
I wish I had the body that Michael Jai White had. He's 50 years old. I look at him on social media. I'm like, put it away. Stop it, please. Come on. Jesus Christ. Have a heart. Have a heart. Take it easy. No, the guy's in phenomenal shape. Yeah, listen, when he was younger, if he put the effort into being a mixed martial artist, I'm sure he would have been very successful. Same with Scott Adkins. Same with a lot of these guys. You know, we're not supermen. We're martial artists. You know, it all depends about this. Yeah, hold on. There's our housemate, Megan, trying to interact with me. Not on the podcast, Megan.
Nice. Wait, who's Megan?
Okay, do you want to come say hi? You want to come say hi on the podcast, Megan? Come here.
Who is she?
Come in. Just no. We're live to the world, Megan. Just come and say hi. Lean in. Lean in. Lean in.
Who's Megan?
Hi.
This is Megan. She lives at our house now.
Hi, Megan.
Lean in, talk to the microphone.
Oh, hi.
Hi, how are you? Why is...
How are you?
I'm trying... Well, how old is Megan?
I'm 18.
Oh, all right. Megan, go away.
Exactly. You were trying to be rude. You're right. Okay. Yeah, I know. Just go.
This girl, this 18-year-old girl in short shorts is just walking around behind you.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I would always do the podcast at Bisping's house too.
Stop it, Lewis. Come on. No, it's Ellie's friend. She lives with us now.
Oh, that's
yeah, she lives with us now. She moved in. You know, we're helping her out. You know, she's
yeah, I'd help her out too, Bisping. Good for you. Look at you, just offering a home to live. Why wouldn't you?
Well, that's what I do. You know, I'm a very giving guy. I help people out, you know. Now, bearing in mind, Callum did say, can I have my 18-year-old friend move in that has a penis? I said, no, we are not a holiday. We are not a hotel, okay? No, I'm kidding, of course.
Anything you want, Megan. Sure. Mi casa es su casa. Come on in.
$200? Sure, take it.
I literally went, by the way, when I thought you were saying like one of your house maids was walking by, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a fun little segment. And then this girl in short shorts just shows up. Don't ever do that to me again.
No, she's at college. She's at college right now. She's gonna go to the library and do her homework. She wants to borrow a car. Like, okay.
Way less hot. You're right.
Well, you thought the maid were gonna come in like some like sexy bloody negligee or, you know, like maid attire from one of these pornos that you watch, Lewis.
I met your maids. I saw them. It's a team of old Mexican women. It was going to be a nice little racist segment again. Yeah. We're going to get banned from Netflix. But what are you doing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's definitely no hotness from my team of maids. That's a fact. As you said, they are all in the 50s. Very, very good, though. They do a very good job. So don't talk shit about my... It's not a team of maids. My cleaning ladies that come once a week at a very reasonable rate.
4 maids. That's a team.
Okay. Yeah, but they just do it quicker. That's all. All. Do we have another question?
Well, yeah, he asked what your favorite comedian was, which is a solid question. Who would you say is your absolute favorite comedian?
Oh, well, I'll let you take this one. I think I know what you're going to say because you've said it before, but I forget the name. Favorite comedian? I mean, listen, I'm one of these guys that is, what have you done for me lately? Like a lot of people always say, what is your favorite movie? And I always just think back to a movie that I've seen recently. Do you know what I mean? Favorite comedian? Shit, I don't know. I just watched Bill Burr at the weekend. First time I'd ever seen him, to be honest. He was hilarious. He's not my favorite, but he's the one I watched on Saturday, and he's the one that's in my mind right now.
Yeah.
And then I saw Chris D'Elia the week before at the Comedy Store. He was hilarious. He's not my favorite.
But
And I
at the
saw Theo
time-
Von, and he was hilarious. And Louis J. Gomez, you make me laugh. And Big J. Okerson, you guys, you're all my favorites. I love you all.
Well, that's a very good political answer. There we go. He didn't hurt anybody's feelings that he has a relationship with. Bobby Lee, you're the best, honestly.
Yeah. What's
Another
wrong
level.
with Bobby Lee?
Bobby Lee's
What's
great.
wrong with Bobby Lee?
My favorite comedian, dead, Patrice O'Neill. I will.
That's it. That's
I will. It's. I'm gonna. Did I send you the link to watch or no?
No, send it to me, please.
I'm gonna send you right now because you should hang up and just go. It's Bisping. Just watch Patrice O'Neill, Elephant in the Room. It's the best hour of comedy that's ever been produced. He is. The best. I mean, and you're not half the shit. You won't even agree with what he says, dude. He's so obnoxious and over the top, but it's just such a sign of a great comic where he can just go so hard and get half the room to disagree with him, but still murdering the room. And just really great, really the best. Just hands down the funniest in my opinion. And in my opinion, I have a very special place in my heart for Dave Attell as the greatest living comedian. He's a genius. He's just also one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Just I look up to him so much. So those are my two picks. If those are guys that you should go watch out.
Jim Jeffries is a good one. He's very, very funny, the Australian dude.
Yeah.
Here's one that you probably don't know of. Lee Evans, a British guy. Lee Evans, he was hilarious. Oh, you know who that is?
Yeah.
He was in Something About
famous.
Mary. He was like
Very
the cripple
famous.
guy. Yeah, he's fucking hilarious. In the 90s, he had a few specials out. He's very, very funny. Yeah. So, and then you got Peter Kay. There's tons. There's tons of good English comics. And yeah, there you go. What should we do? Should we do one more or wrap
We'll
it
do
up?
one more question. Can I really quickly plug this weekend? If you're going to be in Nashville, Tennessee, I'll be with my good friend Kurt Metzger, Nashville, Tennessee, co-headlining some shows at the Nashville Zanies. So that's Friday and Saturday night, the 20th and 21st of September. Let's get one more question. We have a text question as well. We'll wrap it up after this one. Great show so far, guys. Thanks for taking part.
Okay. This one is from Lee Rennick from Newcastle upon Tyne. Just finished Quitters Never Win, and I must say it was class. Kudos to Rebecca for the ending. It was very fitting. Question is from Mike. Would you like to make your book into a film? I think it would be great. Have Lucas play you as a child, Callum as a young man, Ellie as a young Rebecca. And before you say it, Lewis, I'm not implying incest. Harrington, if you don't read this, I will make you shave
I was going
and
to
bathe.
say it. I swear to God. That guy fucking knew me because it's exactly where my mind went.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. But continue, Harrington.
I mean, the rest is just him shitting on me. We don't need to read that.
No, please read that. What are you talking about?
If you don't read this, I'm going to make you shave and bathe. We know you don't want to do that. Keep up the great work, guys. Lee.
How are Lee? Right, nice one for your question there, man. See, from Newcastle, right, Lewis, this is how they talk, man, right? This is how they fucking talk, man, from
No, it isn't.
Newcastle, right? It fucking is, man. What they call them now? They call them a Geordie, man. They're a fucking Geordie. Hey, listen, do me a favor, man. Bring up a Newcastle accent, right? Bring up a Geordie accent on the YouTube there, man. Now I'm doing it bad because I've lived in America for a long time. But Harrington, bring up a Geordie accent. Just bring up a Geordie. You will not be able to understand a word that they say, Lewis. The fucking Geordie accent, man. They talk like this, right? So they do. So no, that sounded bad. That was terrible. How are you,
So
man? How are
for
you?
Good.
Right, play it.
some
Play it.
time, I have been promising that I would do a Geordie accent video.
Stop. That is right. Okay. Anytime I have to do an audition and I have to do an audition in that some weird accent, I go to YouTube how to do, and it comes up with these terrible tutorials of some woman, and that was one of them there. She goes, "Oh, anytime I got to do an accent," and then they go into like trying to talk. They're terrible. Right, number one, bring up a man. Don't bring up a woman because I'm a
shit.
man doing a Geordie accent. You're gonna bring up a woman doing a Geordie accent. We're gonna sound different. I'm deep. I'm gruff. I'm manly. I'm not nasal and whiny at all in the way I talk.
You're
Bring up a
literally
man.
nasally and whiny in the way you talk. That's how I would
I
describe
know.
your voice.
I know. That's why I said it. It's called a joke, Lewis.
Sorry.
Bring up. Yeah, no, the Mancs are pretty. Not that I'm a Manc, I'm from near Manchester, though. The Northwest is pretty nasally and whiny. Bring up a man doing a Geordie accent. See what we got.
Sorry.
Or just play Kanye. Fuck it.
No, True. All right. I just pulled this up. True Gordy, Jordy. He's got a popular YouTube channel. This is as Newcastle as
how
it gets.
are you, man? Yeah, but
my
hold
mother
on,
remortgaged the house to send me to dive school.
Wow.
And basically that was it. I was earning okay money, but I thought it would have been a lot better. And when I was in it, I sort of realised, I'm risking my life. It's really quite a dark and crap job, but it's good money, but it's hard at times. It's not what I thought it was going to be.
Right.
So when YouTube...
Stop this. All our listeners are going to go and fucking subscribe to the True Geordie right now and fuck us off. Well
Sounds
done.
like a great show.
Well done,
I enjoyed that little clip we played. We should just play his show instead of doing our show.
Remember the time when I tried to get that kid tickets for the KSI fight?
Yeah.
The KSI fight, and then the True Geordie just took credit for it. Taking care of it, pet. No worries, man. I've taken care of it. I'm like, whoa. I did this. Not the True Geordie, but he's a really good guy.
Yeah, you did his podcast. I remember he hit us up specifically through the BYM channel to get you on the show.
Yeah, no, I did. I did his podcast when I went out there last March, I think. Great guy. Fucking awesome guy. Got a great podcast. You should check it out if you get a chance. But, all right, what was the question? I don't know. I would love it if they made a movie on my life. Jesus Christ, Netflix aren't calling anytime soon because Lewis just got us all cancelled from every subscribe-based network on the planet. Good job, baby boy.
It's all right, baby boy. Come on. That's all we need. Gas Digital all day, all night. YouTube, Vimeo. Then we can kick off YouTube. We got Vimeo, baby boy.
Vimeo? Is that still going? Who the fuck's on Vimeo?
Yeah.
Is that still a thing?
Yeah,
Vimeo
that's
is
out
still actually... Yeah.
Vimeo's out there, yeah.
Okay.
There was the new one,
Okay.
right? There's what's the alternative to YouTube now?
Snapchat.
No, it's like a video hosting site that people are like kind of jumping to
Daily
because
Motion.
YouTube got crazy, whatever it is.
Daily Motion.
All right, let's wrap this one. This has been a great show, Mr. Bisping. Almost 2 hours
Yeah,
today.
it got a little. Yeah, went a long time. Very, very long time. I'm very hungry. I can't run, Lewis. I was going to say I'm going to go for a run, but I'm going to go back to the couch and cry myself to sleep now. Okay. Thanks for listening.
That's it, guys. Thank you so much. We will be back later on in the week. Michael Bisping coming to you from Mexico, right?
Oh, yeah. Can't wait. Mexico City. It's supposed to be a great place. Very, very much looking forward to it. Probably Thursday or Friday. Probably Friday. Let's say Friday. Thursday,
Okay.
I got fighter meetings. Friday, we'll do it. And
then also,
be well.
well, I was going to say October 7th. Remember, I'll be back in Los Angeles. We have Kill Tony on October 7th, live from the Comedy Store. If you guys are BYM fans, come out and support. That show's going to be killer. We'll be hanging out all night. If you guys want to have a drink with the Believe You Me podcast, we don't fuck around. We are one with the fans when you guys come out. So we'll see you guys.
So what are
at
we
the
going to
Comedy
do?
Store.
So we're going to record our own podcast first in LA, hang out, and then do Kill Tony, right?
Yeah, well, bring workout clothes this time. Every time Michael Bisping comes, we have to go on a fucking a shopping spree to get workout clothes and sneakers. This is the money that Michael Bisping has. He'll buy new running sneakers every time he works out. That's the level that he's at right now, and he's worried about 35 cents for a fucking a credit card fee. But bring your workout clothes. We'll get a little Equinox in. Get that workout in right after our podcast. Get some dinner. Go over to Kill Tony at the Comedy Store.
Sounds like a great day. Enjoy your week. See you Friday.